history isn't kind to men who play God.
Okay, this is going to be my first review on this channel. I know it's going to be shit, but I need it to be able to actually get good. So I'm going to be talking about No Time to Die. I'm the nice guy reviewer. I'm not a person who like critically reviews every single detail in the movie. Like, I'll be basically explaining if you would like the movie from an average viewer's perspective.
Fool me once, fool me twice. Are you dead, the paradise?
Billie Eilish's song in the movie, because the songs in James Bond's movies are usually a really big deal. Like Skyfall is probably one of the best songs for a very long time in a James Bond movie. And if I had to compare Skyfall to No Time to Die, Skyfall would be around here and No Time to Die would be around here. I think Billie Eilish done a really good job of the tone of the movie, and that's what Skyfall done really well, and that's why I would put them really close together. And yeah, I really like the chorus of the song. And so yeah, I want to talk about Madeline's backstory. Madeline is James Bond's girlfriend, and I want to talk about her backstory is because I saw a little bit of like carrying over to the time jump. So when she was a kid, she tried to kill Savine by shooting him about like 12-15 times in his chest plate. I didn't kill him, but if you go to the movie where they're in the forest and James Bond, he splits away from his daughter and Madeline. Every time she killed somebody, she would shoot them, she would know they're dead, and then she would shoot them 3 more times to make sure they're dead. It's because she didn't kill Sophine when she was like around 9 years old. So that's what cool things I thought they transfer from the backstory to the main story. The Italy scene. So I just want to say the location of the Italy scene is probably it's just so good. It's just really good. They played it very well in terms of the set pieces of like how it looks and how they like portrayed the villains and everything. It was just really good, and they made it so he wasn't just invincible in this scene. They made it so you actually could have thought he could have died in this scene. And the best part of this scene is when you're seeing James Bond getting angry to someone he loves. So he got angry to Madeline, and he was just letting the person shoot out a bulletproof window until it almost broke. And it, like, just in that scene itself, it basically showed how angry he can get to a person he actually loves, because we've never really seen that before. And a lot of what the MI6 told him was, if you think of any suspicion, you just forget about them. And that is what was going through his mind in that moment. And that's what I think they've done really good in that Italy scene. And yeah, so I think the Italy scene was probably one of the best bits of the movie. So the England scene. What I want to just say a little bit, I just want to say a little bit about this scene, is that they took a lot of inspiration from the Mission Impossible films in terms of they didn't take like the final arc. They took like the first arc in terms of when the villain gets the virus, or when the villain gets something in the Mission Impossible films. They usually go for that type of vibe, and that's why I think they took a lot of inspiration from. And like what I really liked about that scene was the red dot sights in pitch black. I love when it's like pitch black scenes and you just see like the red dot sights just killing people. I think that's a really cool way how you can portray killing people and making it like a 12A at the same time. So yeah. So I want to talk about the Jamaican scene. And as I was saying before, all of like the places they decided to set the tone of the movie, and the places they actually filmed the movie, and like all of the set pieces was really good. And that carried over to the Jamaican scene as well. And I've got quite a bit to talk about the Jamaican scene, is because I liked Paloma and Bond's chemistry. So Paloma is the one with the blue dress. She was such a badass in the movie. I wish I saw more of it in terms of like their chemistry, Bond and Palomas, was like really good. It's probably one of the best. I'll probably rival it to the new 007. I probably prefer it to the new 007. And I liked how the MI6 and the CIA had made that whole scene like a three-wheeled party thing. It was the whole mission of it was to get the scientists, right? But they weren't working together, is because they're so like ego driven to try and get the scientists, and that's always been like carried on from the first movie. It's because if you remember in Casino Royale, the MI6 guy, the black guy, I totally forgot his name, the guy who died in this movie, he was like, I can bring you more of my chips, but the CIA will have to get them. They've always had like this rivalry of conflict in terms of who can get who and who gets ownership of, or who gets recognition of doing such things, which I really liked as well, how they carried that over. So I want to talk about Felix's death. I just remembered his name. So Felix's death was, I think it was really well done in terms of, he went out too easy, but you couldn't say that's a bad thing at the same time, is because it's not like he was a CIA agent in terms of like fighting in combat. He was just a person who was just an in plain sight CIA agent. So it wasn't like he could have fought back. And I think they portrayed his death really well. And yeah, I really liked that whole scene of the betrayal scene. I did not see that coming at all. Like, and no, I didn't see it. Actually, I did see it coming. It's just in terms of what I was meant to say is that they built the tension really well in terms of when he was answering the questions, when Bond was just trying to get the questions out and the other guy was just trying to not make the questions happen. I really enjoyed that scene. Yeah, so that was the one thing I really enjoyed about that as well. So I want to get to the final part of the movie. So this is the part where all of the stakes are risen, and this is the part when Safine has took his daughter and his girlfriend and Bond's girlfriend. And so I want to talk about like I want to break it down into three parts for the end scene. So the first part is when they're infiltrating the building, and what I want to say is that machine, like the UAV type machine, was like the coolest thing ever. Like the UAV submarine thing was really dope. They didn't overdo it, so in terms of it wasn't like super futuristic in terms of how it looks, which I really liked, and how they kept it really sleek. That's what I thought made it really look really good. And what I wish they'd done more of is when they were actually infiltrating the building, because that was when like basically most of the new 00's action scenes were. It was that bit and the Jamaican scene, and I wish they'd just done a little bit more of it, because they look really good together, and we didn't really see them perform too much action scenes together, and that's the only thing I didn't like. But that's not a bad thing they've done. It's just the one thing they didn't do. Okay, so the middle is when Bond finally meets Safine, and he's just in a really bad predicament, because Safine has his daughter at gunpoint. And in this scene, which I think they've done really well, is we actually see emotion from Bond. And you don't see that a lot at all. You don't really see emotion from James Bond, like, ever. It's because he's just meant to be like a cold-hearted MI6 agent who just doesn't really see emotion, even when like his old girlfriends used to die. Like, he would just have one little emotion, and then he would just be fine the next scene. But this, you can really see he would do anything to try and get his daughter in his own hands again. So I want to talk about Bond's death. So this is a hard death in terms of he was probably like Bond since like 2006, I think it was. And so that means for me it's the first Bond I watched, and it's the Bond of my generation. So I won't lie, I was on break. Say if there was a whole violin scene after he died, and that scene, if it went on for like 10 more seconds, I probably would have cried on the cinema. That's probably the first time I would have cried in a cinema. It's because usually in movies, I don't really cry in cinemas, I cry at home. So that would have been the first time, but if it just didn't, so I could hold it in a little bit. So, and I want to say, they done it well. They done it well. It was really emotional. Like I said, I don't think they needed to. I don't think they could have really done it better in terms of his death. And like you could see they were pushing his death in terms of he was just saying just throw the bomb either way. He could have escaped if he really wanted to, but obviously we all knew he didn't want to. There was no other Bond movie, so they had to put his death in some way or how without like making it emotional death without just him getting killed by a gun or something, which I think they've done really well. And so, and I loved how he killed Sophie. And that was like the funniest bit of the whole thing, and like how pissed he was, and he just like triple headshot him. That was super cool. And yeah, I think they the ending of the movie they done really well in terms of how they like hurrahed Bond out as his last movie. And if I was to rate this whole movie, I'll give it 8 out of 10. I'll give it 8 out of 10. I was thinking 8.5, but I'll give it 8 out of 10. This is my first review. I know it's gonna be bad, but I need to try and just get these out. So I need to get better and better and better. So yeah, see ya.